It's actually really nice to see a lot of familiar faces in the audience who've been coming out to the screenings. I'm sure some of you probably already seen Viola from when it played at the festival a couple of years ago. It was a really big hit in the Wavelengths program. Tonight marks the Canadian premiere of Rosalinda. I think you're in for a real treat tonight for these two really wonderful films. And right now I'd like to welcome the director, Matías Piñeiro.
Okay, thank you. Thanks again. Yeah, thanks for being here with this beautiful day. I appreciate that you're coming in, and also appreciate the familiar faces around. It's truly, yeah, I'm really grateful that you are interested in joining into this double feature that you are to experience today. It's pretty. I was just telling him that it's somehow of a bumpy ride, because somehow it's the first two films that I did around Shakespeare. My idea is to continue this series of Shakespeare projects that I call the Shakespeareads, las Shakespeariadas. I studied it while I was writing my second feature. I started rereading and reading Shakespeare just for fun, and I discovered that there was that I really enjoyed the comedies, that I really enjoyed the leading female roles in those comedies, especially Rosalinda, and I realized that there was something between those roles and the actresses with whom I tend to work. So I thought that there was a link there that it was nice to explore. So when I was asked by the Jeonju International Film Festival in Korea to make a medium feature film, I said, okay, let's put up this together. I don't know how it will be, what the result will be. I had not an idea of doing many projects at that time. That was 2010. But it was like a miracle that someone just sent me an email telling me that he's gonna give me an amount of dollars to do a film. Like, okay, let's do it. And they do that annually, but they never do it with someone that it's not known. And I was, by chance, I don't know why, I was asked to do this, and it was great. The experience was very good. I tried to make a film like divided into movements. I'm talking here about Rosalinda. There's not much plot in it. It's very thin, the plot, and I just wanted to juxtapose and contrast two rhythms, like the rhythm of the Shakespearean character and the rhythm of the actress, in a way. That it's also a character, but of those two movements. So there is a plot line, and you have Shakespeare, but I was very much interested in the rhythm of it, in its musicality, in appropriating it, in feeling it close. I remember that when I was telling people that I was doing this Shakespeare film, they were like, ah, okay, because they had an idea that Shakespeare is like, I don't know, something like that, or I don't know what crazy idea do they have. Like, and I felt that there was something that we could work around it, and with the actresses, with the DP, and so on. So after that, I was asked to do a play for the University of Buenos Aires. I asked to do a play because I was a filmmaker, so they were asking for people to do their first play. So I did a play that was a pasticho of 7 Shakespeare plays. I was working with, I just did Rosalinda, and I was happy to continue that. And from that experience, the idea of the Shakespeares came out. And Viola, the second film that you're going to watch, takes out from that. You're going to see that there's a theater, there's a moment that there's a play being played, and that play was the one that we did with these actresses. They're short pieces, but they're very intense, and I like their length is kind of awkward, like 43 and 63, I think. But I think that was the length that they should have. I didn't try to make them longer just because it would be a format easier to move around the world. And in the end, I insisted on that idea and insist on doing this much more films, and we'll see how it carries on. Now I'm just finished doing the third one, that it's called The Princess of France. So I hope it will be here around soon. So I shut my mouth now and leave you with the films. Enjoy them.
Please welcome back Matías Piñeiro.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
So, okay, my first question I want to ask about the music in the film and how it came about. How was it in the script? Was it in the script at an earlier stage, or did it come out later on? Or
yeah, it was in the script, but I knew I wanted to finish with music. There's not in my films. I don't put music that it's not being played. No, in Rosalinda also you have like the keyboard moment and the telephone. And then in here, I didn't have a place to put music, and suddenly I thought, okay, because I think that there should be music. So I thought that maybe in the end I could, and then I came up with this idea of this ending, this idea of that to capture like a moment where they are having fun and they're having a nice, relaxed moment, and I thought that was not possible to write. You can't, I don't know, or at least I was not able to write an actual, true, relaxed moment. How you say, oh, relax yourself. At the moment that you say that, he's not relaxed. So I have to create that in a way. And I thought that music would be something that would connect the two actors because they like music, they like fooling around. Like he's breaking his voice up on purpose, but because of something else. But so I knew that they could have fun and that he could make her laugh. So I just needed, in the script, I put that I needed like a moment where she would laugh, but she would actually laugh, not just acting a laughter. So we shot this song for like 10 minutes, like a single take that was crazy. The actor had to leave. It was not relaxed at all because he had to go to the theater, and it was 1 hour till his show opened. So there was a taxi waiting for him outside. So it was not relaxed, but they were... When the shot came, the 10 minutes went along, and I knew that I was only going to use a couple of seconds for that. So it was like in all those 10 minutes, I would be able to capture something. I was hoping, and somehow it worked. And then I said, okay, let's put all the credits. And I decided at first I decided not to put the subtitles because you've read enough. And it's kind of foolish what they say. Then I realized that the people that understand Spanish, they laugh and they react to it. So maybe then I did another copy and put subtitles. But for me, it was very important that you look at their faces and see them having like a good time. But because in the end, that was the important thing.
But I think on the DVD that's being released
the
now,
DVD
it is subtitles, so you can get the DVD and actually see it.
It's nothing very... The words are all improvised, of course. They're fooling around, so it's not very important. It's kind of jokey. At first, I didn't like it. I thought that it was too jokey, and then I thought it was okay.
Okay, and then it's a film with rehearsals. I wanted to ask about your process of working with actors. Do you rehearse, and how do you work with your actors? Yeah,
I know these actors, and so the roles have been written for them first step. I work with them over like in many films, and so somehow it's like the film that we just did somehow will help making the next one. So El Hombre, the Stolen Man, somehow helped me to put up also the acting for this. We have a history of life together, and I think that that's also important. And then I try to rehearse as much as possible, but sometimes there's big limitations because it's not that I have a big budget that I can tell Maria, quit your job, we'll rehearse for a month and it will be amazing. But in Viola, as I told before, comes from this play that we did. So I did like the Orson Welles trick, like to put up a play, rehearse, have all that time to use the wardrobes for the film. You know, he did that with Macbeth, I think, or Othello, for Macbeth. And so we were doing this play. I liked the play that we did. It was a very nice experience. I thought that it was not so good, but it was a good experience. And when I finished the play, I said, I need to do something with this, and I did Viola. So there was all this time of being together, doing the play with the 4 girls that are in the dressing room. So yes, we didn't rehearse as much for the actual film, but there was all this energy contained that is exposed in the film.
Okay, and maybe we can open up to the audience now. If you just raise your hand, and we have microphones, we'll pass them around to you. No questions yet. I'll ask. Oh.
Can you tell us about the dialogue?
I think that.
Hi, could you tell us about the dialogues? Because in all the 4 films, they are quite important. And they create some kind of rhythm.
Yeah.
And in certain sense, there is no sense what they're saying or revealing the narrative.
Yeah. Well, we should give certificates for what you just achieved this weekend. Yeah. I'm attracted to, well, as you have heard, I talk a lot and I like people talking. I like to see people talking. That's something. Then I thought, and I became aware that words were another part of film. Sometimes you can people have taken words or dialogues as something that doesn't belong to film, but I think that that's not right. There's not limitations for film in a way, because everything that's part of the world is part of cinema, and words are part of cinema, and so but now the thing is how you deal with them. The problem must be that. So I try to think that a dialogue gives a perspective on that character, and it's not saying what I want to mean. And that idea of like a greater meaning is something that the film on itself can provide or not in the dialogue that you have with it. And that myself, I'm organizing things, I'm moving around, and dialogues are a way to set some traps also, or some rhythm or some pace, but then it's the relationship that you can have with it. And I like this idea of the musicality of dialogues, and I like this idea of complex dialogues. They're not, sometimes people tell me about mumblecore and so on, and I haven't seen mumblecore when I was doing this film actually. Yeah, and because they are not like, they're not talking like that. They're not mumbling. They're talking, no? And I think that it's nice that words have like a density. That sometimes it's light, sometimes it's a lie. No, if you tell a lie, it's dense because it's a meaning that has double 2 layers because there's all those things I like. That we were talking about layers yesterday.
Okay, are there any more questions? There's one back here.
Hi there.
Hi.
What is the biggest drive in your life right now to create? What inspires you in your personal life?
I think that the idea of getting together with these people that you just sing, and you see that the credits go very, very slowly because I think that it should be respected. I didn't put subtitles at first because, there's also like these names that you may not know them, but maybe if you've seen all the films now, you see that some of them are repeating, and it's the moment to expose them. And I really think that if I do films, it's because I like getting together with these people and produce something out of that encounter. And I think that it can be shared. It's not only because we were doing something that we like. No, I think that it's something that we stimulate each other. And I like to tell a tale also, apparently. And it's something that I can share. I can show you a corner. I can show you something, an idea, an emotion, or something like that. I can show like a book of Sarmiento that nobody heard about. This idea of putting a little bit of, or the female roles. I'm also I like this idea of like putting a little bit of light in some aspects that are not that heightened sometimes.
Okay, and there's 2 over here.
Okay.
I noticed that in the first film, one of the characters is reading an Eric Romer book. There's like a photograph of him on it. I can think of some other contemporary directors influenced by Romer, like Hong Sang-soo or Marinade or Mian Hansen. I'm just wondering, why did you put the book of Romer there? And I could definitely see an influence if you want to speak about that.
Because when he died 10 days before I did the film. And so it was somehow of an homage, and I didn't want to do it like that's because you know the book and you know a little bit of Spanish, but it's not very well framed, and I like that. It was just an idea of putting that. I didn't want to put like the photograph of him or his name. I thought that would be a little bit like a wink, or I prefer to leave it like that, but I do the films with the things that are surrounding me in that moment, and in that moment, like Romer have just died, And for instance, when there's another moment, it's not that I want you to know it, but it helps me to put up the film when they're in the little beach that they end up kissing, and they're talking about a girl. Well, they're talking about les rayons verts. He's telling Summer to. So it's things that I put it helps. It had to do that he just passed away, so that's why I put that things there. And then I like a lot of filmmakers, and I really appreciate like the classical era, and I love Renoir, and I love Preminger. It's like you learn a lot from them, and they are good companions also while you're working. And it's nice to process everything and then do your own stuff. But sometimes it's nice to be able to think about what you're doing by watching also. I really think that it's important, that relationship.
Okay, I think there is here.
I'm curious about the difference you experienced directing Shakespeare on the screen and on the stage, and how audiences have reacted differently to that.
I think that the play was not that good. It was okay, but it's okay. At first, I had a very strange feeling that cinema seemed a little bit poor in a way, because in theater you have to meet every week, and it was amazing. Like it was a very nice feeling. The idea of Thursday night I have this appointment where I have to meet these people, and we go to dinner and so on, and then we had to rehearse, and there was something very good that I experienced it while I was doing it. That was it's like doing a long take, like a plan séquence. The 40 minutes. It was a very short play. It was 40 minutes. So it was like you have to put up like a long sequence shot live. And it was a mess. It was a mess. And at first, I was very hard, and I didn't have a very good time. But then I somehow was relieved by the idea that there was a future, that a new show was coming up next week, so we could fix things, and that it was alive. And in that sense, I was saying, oh, cinema is different, and I really like this. It would be nice that cinema could have much more of that. In a way, I don't know, just to make questions, but then when the play finished, I really felt that I needed to do something. That I couldn't cope with the idea of disappearance that theater also has, and I needed to capture something. So I did this film. I appreciate both things. I would like to redo that play in a way, correct some things, enhance it, but I don't know. Now I'm not living in Buenos Aires, so it will be impossible. But maybe someday it will come. Yeah, I like both experiences, but of course I'm a filmmaker. I think I'm much more of a filmmaker than it was a good experience, and people were nice. My friends were coming, and so yeah, they were nice to me.
Okay, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I wanted to thank the audience for joining us for these
so
screenings,
much.
and especially like to thank Matías for being so generous with your time and joining us.
No, TIFF has been very generous, and it's great that to be able to show these films that are so small. It's hard to show them like in a good screening projection and all that, and it's like also I'm very relieved that I could show them in that way here, because in these days of new Nickelodeons, like watching things so small, it's nice that this could happen. So I thank you very much, Brad.
And also we should also tell everyone to watch out for your new film, The Princess of France, which will hopefully be making its way around the world later this year. Yeah, I'm going back in June to finish it, so I hope mid of this year will be around. We'll see. Thank you. Thank you so much for the interest.